I love when people say, I don't need a personal brand. Well, I hate to break it to you. You got one. You have one whether you wanted one or not. So if you constantly fall down the slippery slope of, I just need more time, you're always going to need more time.
Yeah.
So we're wishing a lot of that stuff away instead of looking at, that's what it is. That's what I wanted. Now, how does the rest of it work?
Hello, everyone. I am so excited today to bring you an amazing episode with the great Amy Landino. Amy Landino is a best-selling author, award-winning host, and founder of Amy Landino International. She's an expert in digital attention and personal branding. For those of you who haven't seen her Hugh Grant reel, go watch it. She helps ambitious professionals create content. And yeah, everything that she does is incredibly relevant for ADHD entrepreneurs. Before I was diagnosed, before I understood all of those kinds of things, I actually found Amy back in the day and used a lot of her strategies. So I'm really excited to chat to her today. And, whether you have or suspect or anything, whether you just have a different brain that needs some help in any kind of way, we're going to be giving you the goods when it comes to personal branding. So wonderful to have you here.
Skye, thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Yeah, no worries. So I guess my first question is, many people, and people with ADHD are no exception, experience struggles with rejection sensitivity and the fear of putting themselves out there. That is literally what you teach. So what do you have? What advice do you have for overcoming that very real fear?
So I have a rule about personal branding. People care about who you are, but they don't care about you. So that sounds really aggressive, but it's actually really good news. And here's why. You are consumed about what people are going to think about you when you start thinking about, what is my personal brand? And what am I going to say about myself? And what are people going to observe about me? And so when you're in that headspace of me, I, that's the ego, right? Like, no one likes to be in that space, even if we're very concerned about something. We have a very good reason to be concerned about those things. We don't want to be in that headspace. The good news about this is that it's not about you. It is about the people you do this for. So what I mean by people care about who you are, if someone can elegantly explain and sort of encapsulate who you are in a sentence. For instance, I'm going to share a video with somebody that I saw on Instagram. That's really cool. That's one way of summarizing who you are in the video to someone else. If someone can elegantly explain that to a friend, to a family member, they care about who you are. And the reason is probably because who you are has something to do with how you serve that person. So people care about who you are, right? So one example I like to give is, people don't care what my babies look like. They don't care what my babies look like. My babies, that's a me thing. If I feel I have to post my baby's pictures on social media, that's a me thing. The people who are following me, or the people I want to follow me, thus building a personal brand, they don't care what my babies look like. They care that I'm running a business with babies at home and how I'm doing that from a time management efficiency standpoint. It's interesting that I have kids because it applies to my life. It qualifies me probably to another mom or somebody who's experienced with children. Right? So it qualifies me in some way, in addition to the other areas of expertise. Oh, she talks about building a personal brand. She talks about building a business. She talks about productivity. She's also
just niches
a mom.
you further down.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's because that applies to the people who are in my community. So for those people who are struggling with the fear of building a personal brand, it's hard to remember the phrase because it's a little tricky. People care about who you are, but they don't care about you. If we can walk through life and feel a little bit more easy breezy, like, we think everyone's paying attention to us all the time. They're not. They're worried about themselves. So think about how it applies to them. And once you navigate that and you can elegantly explain who you are as it applies to bringing value to other people, that is building a personal brand. And you can take a little bit of fear out of it, I think, when that's the case.
Mm-hmm. And you bring up a really good point. I want to kind of backtrack a second because there's going to be a lot of people listening who are like, personal brand, what? I don't need one of those. But more and more, I've actually been working with people who are just like out in the world, getting jobs, et cetera, who've been saying to me, like, I need to become more known. I need to have a brand, even on just LinkedIn. So speak to me about that shift. Have you noticed that?
Absolutely. I love when people say, I don't need a personal brand. Well, I hate to break it to you. You got one. You have one, whether you wanted one or not. Somebody knows you. Someone. Do you know one person? If you know one person, you're known and you have a personal brand. So it's a matter of what are people saying about you? Can you
Yeah.
control that to the nth degree? Of course not. You can't, because we all start to interpret things differently too. Sometimes what I say isn't even, what you hear, because you needed to hear just a soundbite of whatever I said that kind of ticked something off in your brain. So even trying to get a hold of what the narrative is about you is only so controllable, right?
Yeah.
But it is something that you have control of from the start. So whether you have coworkers or you're working on building an audience online, you have a personal brand. It's what people are saying or thinking or how they would refer to you. Oh, well, we should give that project to Skye because
Yeah.
she's really tuned in with how people think like this. So she could bring it. That's happening in the
Mm-hmm.
boardroom, just like it's happening on a social media post for someone's personal brand. So I
Yeah.
want somebody to think a little differently if they're like, I don't know if this applies to me. It does. The question is, what do you want? If you have clarity on what you want, then we can start to reverse engineer how a personal brand that you would want to improve applies.
And this is an interesting question because I think the next question that I get from a lot of people is, cool, okay, I have done it. Skye, I've gone on LinkedIn, I've done a thing, I've posted about what I do in business, professional capacity, whatever it is. But I'm only talking to like friends and family. Like, how do I have a personal brand that speaks to the kind of people that I want to speak to? Do you have any advice for those people who are just starting?
100%. You said it exactly right. How do you speak to the people you want to speak to? Speak to the people you want to speak to. We used to live in a world on social media where the greater the following, the more likely that your content would hit more eyeballs or more ears or whatever. We don't live in that world anymore. So
Wow, that's
it's
interesting.
we don't. We don't. I'm sorry. I didn't know that was the news flash. Like literally we
Yeah,
don't.
that's
Yeah,
crazy.
I have 450,000 subscribers on YouTube. I
Mm-hmm.
have 96,000 followers on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
That has nothing to do with whether a piece of content is going to take off or not. And we see this on TikTok a
Mm.
lot. One piece can just fly like crazy, and then the account begins to grow because one piece did really well. That's not just a TikTok thing, that's everywhere else. So even though I have a long time subscribership on YouTube going back many, many, many years, it doesn't mean every video is going to be a success. I know this for a fact. And somebody with a
Mm-hmm.
brand new channel started today. You could start a YouTube channel, you could start a LinkedIn, or whatever. If you post a video that resonates with people, it could take off. It could get you hundreds of thousands of views, if not more, and you could start to
Mm-hmm.
attract those followers. So, with that in mind, you have friends and family in your ecosystem because that's a starting point. That's where we all started. Instagram used to be pictures of me and my dog, RIP,
Mm-hmm.
but that was all I cared about at the time.
Yeah.
And so it made sense to us. What we're posting facilitates a relationship with the people who are close to us and what they know about us. But as we
Mm-hmm.
work on building a new identity in public, then we start to think about what are those people who already know me from this and where I'm growing from? What are they going to think about this? And that consumes us. You need to make content for the people you want to follow you, not the people who are already following you. And that's no
Yeah.
disrespect to my 96,000 either, because that's a lot, right? I think some people
Mm-hmm.
would be like, wow, I'd love 96,000 followers on Instagram. That would be fantastic. But many of them started with me. Let's say I had 1,500. The average, I would say, people have friends and family in the area of 1,500. If they're very sociable, I guess, on social media. 1,500 out of 96,000. That's a small percentage, but you don't get there without appealing to a larger, different audience.
Yeah.
So you answered the question within the question. If you want to attract a different following or a larger following or a more widespread impact of a community, you need to speak to them as if they already exist.
Hey, you listening to this podcast. If you like what we do and you want to hear more of it, there is one way to make sure that happens. Please go ahead, subscribe, and leave a 5-star review. We have been told 5-star reviews can help us to get seen by more people, which means more people are going to learn about ADHD strategies.
Just press the button. Just give us a 5-star review.
I guess, we've talked about a little bit about the anxiety of doing that. I want to talk about the consistency of doing that. Obviously, people with ADHD, we have a tendency to be known for struggles with consistency. That's what I teach. Yeah. So how do you do this consistently? Like, what is your secret? Obviously, you have kids, you have a business, you're doing so many things. Like, what allows you to show up well for those people consistently?
There's a couple of things going on, right? Because it's easy to make excuses. Life is always going to get in the way. And also, life is the reason that we're trying to design work to be, enjoyable so that we actually can have the circumstances and the rest of the time that we have going for us. First of all, we talk about habits a lot, and there's a reason for it. Everyone thinks successful people just have all the tricks of the trade. That's a small percentage of it. The biggest trick of the trade is no matter how I feel today, I have a goal and I'm going to do the things I have to do every day that would make that goal more of a possibility. If you don't feel like going to the gym today, but your goal is to have 15% body fat, then you have to know when you set that goal between then and when you achieve it, that you're going to have some times that are up and down, limiting beliefs, bad moods, off days. I've spilled coffee on myself twice today. It's been an off day so far. But there are things I know I have to do no matter how I'm feeling. If in 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 25 years, I want that result. So that's first and foremost. I have a list of things. The list of things that non-negotiable have to happen for me if I want this on my YouTube, if I want this in my business, if I want this with my family, if I want this in my retirement account. All of those things, they are habits that are non-negotiable so that on the off days, I still did the best that I could. And I really think that's number one.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's really interesting. I was actually talking about these habits ideas with my friend Russell, ADHD Big Brother, shout out to his podcast. And, it was interesting yesterday teaching in their community about how to set these goals because it's exactly the same. I mean, Dan talks about this. What is it that's going to make your goal inevitable? And you have to really nail that down because when I was talking to people, some people were like, well, I need to do this. And when we really got down to it, it turned out that was a vanity metric. That wasn't the thing that was going to make this inevitable, or that was the easy thing. And really it was like, we were talking about exercise. It was like, is it the exercise or is it the eating? And it was the eating. And they're like, oh no, I'm going to have to do the eating thing. Oh, I don't want to do that. And it's like, or is it that you need to just like get more leads, or is it that you need to hire an EA and learn to train with somebody because actually you have enough leads and you need time back, So I challenge you, if you're listening, to really think about that because we can throw that idea out there and we can just pick up a vanity metric and say, that's the thing I need to do every day. I'm going to try and do 500 of them and then fail and say, oh, it doesn't work for me. But in reality, it's like, pick your rocks. If you know the rock, pebble, sand metaphor, pick your rocks. Make sure they're actually rocks And then we will do everything that you guys know about, like the
I'm
reward
so
starting, all
glad
that
you
stuff.
said that. I have something, I want to gift something to your audience, but let me tell you why. Because of what you just said, so many people just kind of, oh, well, Dan said that was good, and Amy said that was good, and Skye said that good. Those are my rocks. Like, fine, yeah, I guess I need that nice car and I need this. Okay. You need to know what problem you're solving for. If you go to my Instagram, send me the word action, you'll get my extraordinary action framework. It helps you come up with what the master plan is. But the first question you're going to get, what problem are you actually solving for? Because we're not seeing a reverse engineering of that. If you can pinpoint, okay, well, I'm not making enough money in the business, which is why I can't hire. So I guess I should just go find a cheap hire. Wait a minute. You're not charging enough money. So what problem are we solving for? It's very likely you do need both, but you're going to need both. So you can't hide from the fact that you're not bringing enough money into the business just by going and giving yourself the project of finding yourself a $6 an hour VA. It's not going to pan out for you. Even the $6 is going to get lost. Okay. So what problem are you actually solving for? A lot of people don't stop to ask that question, which would help them tremendously to get more clear on what are my rocks? Like, what is driving me crazy, keeps me up at night that I want to be better? Because then I can stop worrying about every single thing I see on the scroll and only pay attention to what's in the prefrontal cortex, the stuff that's the most important to me.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And I think this is such an important, like spend a bit of time on this, talk to people, talk to your AI, try and figure that out. And obviously, do that. I think I've already got that action framework from you, but probably should go back and look at it.
Always good to reapproach it and make sure.
100%. You would be, I am a business owner and I have, ADHD and executive functioning. And the amount of times I'm like, hang on, did I almost accidentally put my ladder against the wrong wall? Oh, yeah. Okay. Let's not do that. Like the amount, it's horrifying. If you guys knew how often that nearly happens.
Yep. Absolutely. It's so sad too when you're halfway up and you're like, oh, I've done so much work. I came so far, but I really want to go back down. And the other thing I would say is you are going to have those moments where you're like, holy crap, I'm halfway up the ladder. And you're also going to be like, I kind of want to feel good about myself, but compared to everybody else, it's not as great as I would have liked to be at this point. Maybe I'd feel better or more fulfilled if I was at another point. Just chipping away at it. Just chipping away at it gets you very far. I want everybody to know that I have been on YouTube since 2007. My current 7, not 17, 7. Like literally was invented in like 05, 06. And I didn't know what it was at the time. I just found a way to put video on the internet that was not burning a DVD. So that was a win. And so I started a YouTube channel. The one that I have now, Amy TV. I started it when I went full-time into my business. I was no longer side hustling. So started in 2011. I hit 80,000 subscribers in 2017. So from 2011 to 2017, it was a slow grind. And there was a 3-year period in there where I uploaded every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday without miss for 3 years. The channel now has like almost 2,000 videos on it, I think. So I have uploaded and uploaded and uploaded. And you guys, I wasn't even paying attention to views. I cannot even, like, I remember this so vividly. I happened to find the way to turn YouTube on my TV one night. This was like not when it was common. And I was like, that video, that's from my channel. I posted that today and it has 1,000 views on it. And I was like, that's not right. Because I wasn't paying attention to views at the time. I only cared if the content was converting clients. That was the only thing I measured. But by just continuing to post and be consistent, you're going to feel the slog every day, but over time is going to contribute to so much. When the clock turned midnight of 2018, I changed my name. I'd been married the previous year. I changed my name. I changed the name of the show. I changed the URL. I changed everything. I pivoted so hard. Like I went almost completely in a circle. I pivoted so hard. And I was like, everyone's probably going to jump ship, but whatever. Like, I can't keep doing things the way I've been doing things because I need to do something else that speaks to my heart more. And I went from 80,000 subscribers to 100,000 subscribers in a couple of months. I hit 200,000 subscribers in 100 days after that.
Wow.
So first lesson here, just keep the habit, because it may feel like it's all or nothing, but it's going to pay you back in some way at some point in time. And 2, don't be afraid to pivot if it continues to help you have the life you actually want and you feel like it's more characteristic of who you are.
Yeah, I love that. Honestly, I needed to hear that today. So thank you. That's amazing.
You're welcome.
But yeah, and I agree. I think I talk about this all the time, is don't expect to get your dopamine, your little happy boost from the thing that you're doing. It's not going to come from there. Give yourself a reward for starting. This is the number one thing that I teach people. It's so simple, and yet people are always, just be like, okay, I'm going to record this many times a week and I'm going to upload and I'm going to grab myself a smoothie and I'm going to listen to some good music and read an article before I do that and focus on that. At 10 a.m., I sit down with a smoothie and an article, and then I look at this and I write a list and then I start. Just focus on, like, is this a cool start reward? Do I want to make it better? Do I want to switch it up? Don't think about the task being the thing that gets you there, because those metrics, I can tell you, and I know, Amy, you can too. You think they're going to change your life, and then you get there and you're like, oh, my life is kind of the same.
Yep. Oh my gosh, I can't tell you how many times that happened to me. I remember I was in the car leaving a basketball game with my friends, and I was like, "Ooh, I just hit 300,000 subscribers." And we did a happy dance on Instagram, and I was like, "Okay, let's go out for lunch, I guess." Like it just these things just happen. And do I meet people on the street who are like, "I know who you are." I'm like, "Wait, really? Like, that's great." It's cool. But it's not the whole thing. Those moments don't make my family life better. They don't put money in my pocket. Like, there are still other things you have to do. So just remember that having a personal brand is an amazing opportunity, and it comes with a lot of responsibility of how you conduct yourself in a public forum. But it's not the whole thing. If you were in this to be famous, go audition for a reality show. And quite frankly, there's too many now to even get famous. Like, it's like, there's so many reality shows.
Like, that used to work, but
that used to work. Yeah, to be fair. If you want a jumpstart, it's the way to go. You could probably get a solid 20,000 followers out of it.
These days, I'd recommend going on Mr. Beast rather than The Bachelor, to be honest. But
That's such a great suggestion. Wow. Why didn't I think of that? I just need to go be on Mr. Beast's show. What was I thinking?
Oh, I love that. I love that. Okay, I'm going to get nerdy here, because you have a super structured approach to tasks and content. And we've talked about consistency in the habit. Talk us through your system, because you have such an interesting system. You have kids. I have kids. A lot of us are like, got families, and we're kind of starting to sweat a little bit because maybe we had the time and energy to do things before, and now we have families, and we're, our partner is not going to let us just pull an all-nighter. That's not happening anymore. So
Absolutely.
What do you do?
Absolutely. Listen, it comes down to how you spend your time. Like, we all only have what we have in terms of time. And we all think we don't have enough time, but we have plenty of time. Everybody gets the same amount of time. It's a matter of how you leverage it. The hardest part, I think, with the family aspect of it is all of us pretending not to know the fact that family was going to affect our lives.
Somebody
so you go through all of this. You're like, I need a husband. I want a couple of kids. And then they get here and you're like, well, now what do? I have passion projects. And I don't have enough time to focus. And everyone says that I should just go and be a troll in the basement to get all my work done. But these children, they keep asking me for food and stuff to do. So I think it's really important that we remember, what was the life you wanted? So now, how do we make work around that? That's step number 1. Step number 2, measure your time. Like, if you don't track where you spend your time, you can't improve upon it. You can't manage it to begin with. You have to manage your energy. So if we're going to manage energy, then we need to know what's affecting the energy. I was telling Skye before we started recording that I currently have a almost 10-month-old that's at home with me all the time, except most recently for 2 days a week. She goes to her grandmother's house. So me and my team know that Mondays and Thursdays, coveted space for me to do the things that I can do when I'm not worried about a baby crawling around and waking up from naps. So on Mondays, I'm shooting for YouTube, anything dedicated to just sit down, shoot video. I don't talk to anyone on the phone. I do my sync with my team and that's it. You won't talk to me the rest of the day before I have to go pick up my kids. And then Thursdays, I spend on calls like a podcast like this. I coach my clients on Thursdays, stuff like that. That's really core to where I'm at in my life in this season because I have a 10-month-old that I adore. And as much as she is crawling everywhere, and I'm like, crap, I can't multitask as well as I used to. I don't want to speed up this time because the time is coming very soon where she will be going into school and learning from other people than me and playing with other kids and picking up new skills. So I don't need to speed that up. It's going to happen as soon as it does. And then if they're like my 3-year-old, she's there every day for 5 days a week. And I see her outside of that. And that's looking like the way life is going to go. She's going to be in real school soon. She's going to be learning. She's going to have friends. She's going to want those things. So we're wishing a lot of that stuff away instead of looking at that's what it is. That's what I wanted. Now, how does the rest of it work?
Yeah.
And for people who are like, I have a full-time job, this is so irrelevant to me because, whatever. Everyone's situation is different. You have to look at how do you do your best work and when will you do that best work? I'm not going to shoot a video
That's
when
so
my baby's at
important.
home with me. That video is going to be terrible. The sleepy hours that she used to sleep when she was 3 months are gone. They are gone. So just shooting when she's at home makes no sense because I can barely put makeup on to begin with. So there's that. It's all about energy management and when am I going to do my best work? And I think the key thing here is stop telling yourself how much more you could be doing if it weren't for all of those circumstances. Because what that does is create a habit loop of I always have to be working. And that's a dangerous place to be too.
Yeah.
Because
it's an easy place to be.
I'm going to get those 5 days back. Do you know how many of those days it's probably going to be easy for me to work all of that 5 days, all hours of those 5 days? When I'm just as efficient right now with my team having 2 dedicated days a week. I have to ask myself, what am I going to do with those 3 days?
Yeah.
Because it's questionable if you are investing in a team like I am to help you scale that time, then shouldn't that time be bought back? And so you have to be really critical of that. So if you constantly fall down the slippery slope of I just need more time, you're always going to need more time.
Yeah. And I will say as well, I've found with clients with what I've done is that when people have open calendars, that's often when we struggle the most. Like when people have hard things that they have to work against and they're in the pocket, like this is the time, as long as we can step you into focus, like you're going to do more. Like, so if you're the kind of person who says, oh, like I would love to have a wide open calendar. 1, I very rarely see it happen. 2, those people really struggle, like genuinely to do things with that time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I just had that happen to me last week and I got on Instagram stories and I was all stressed about it. Oh, my Monday that was wide open for me to do all the things I had to do. It just didn't work out. And sometimes I have to ask myself like, well, how is that possible when I could probably shoot a video in 20 minutes because I'm required to? That same video will take me an hour and a half because I had a wide open calendar. It's
that
Parkinson's
principle,
law.
whatever it's called.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
It's Parkinson's law. You will take up all of the resources that you have every time.
100%. 100%. Well, gosh, this has been an amazing conversation. I just have a couple more questions for you. We'd like to ask everyone.
Cool.
Tell me, what is the professional achievement that you're the most proud of?
I'm very proud of the fact that I'm a 3-time author. Like that's weird. Like,
Mhm.
like what? You imagine you're going to be an author someday, but then it actually happens. And my first book, I was completely not prepared for. I was talking about how to make videos on the internet, and people wanted a book about how to make videos. And I was like, why do you want to buy a book about making videos when I give away that information for free via videos? I don't understand. And it's just the nature, right? You can't tell
Mhm.
people what medium to absorb things in. They choose it.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
as a speaker, it became critical too. Like, how am I going to have this business card that kind of gives
Mhm.
you my method pretty succinctly so you know what to do with whatever I just taught you in some other format?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I wrote that first book, and then you just get the bug. Like, every time you feel like you've come up with a new philosophy in life,
Mhm.
you want to get
Mhm.
it out. That's how book number 2 came out.
Yeah.
2018, my community just went nuts for the Good Morning, Good Life conversation,
Oh,
and they
yeah.
loved the morning routines. So Good Morning, Good Life was
Mhm.
the next natural book that came out. 365 Days of Good Morning, Good Life was my page a day reader to help people
Mhm.
with the mindful moment in the morning.
Mhm.
And it is that for them. So it's just kind of cool that I found a way, when you're so addicted to making content on the internet that is so, like, I could delete it at any time.
Yeah.
Somebody could say they saw it and screenshot it or whatever, but I can still delete it if I
Mhm.
want. When you put something in a book, it is out there. And mistakes
Mhm.
really suck in that case. Like, it's a scarier format for me.
Yeah.
And so I feel like I'm probably the most proud of that for that reason.
Awesome. I love that. And then on the other side, and we ask everyone this, what is a professional failure that has embarrassed you and how did you deal with it?
Most embarrassing was getting to a point where I had a business and a team, and then finding out that it was really built on a house of cards that just crumbled.
Oh.
And it wasn't about even the economy or any significant, world event that may have changed things. Those things happen to test the foundation you're built on. And the
Mhm.
best businesses figure out a way to get through them. So, probably what felt very embarrassing, but also one of the most valuable lessons I think I'll ever learn, ever in my entrepreneurial career, is how do you build a business that is sustainable? And
Mhm.
if you don't have the right help, both in-house or, your contractors, and from a mentorship standpoint, and you just kind of
Mhm.
winging it, which
Mhm.
I found myself winging it for a period of time that I shouldn't have been, and
Mhm.
feeling overly confident about it. I found out very quickly how I had incorrectly hired people in my business. And so when we were cash strapped, you had to say goodbye. And I
Yeah.
don't want that for
It's rough.
anyone. I don't want someone I'm really happy with on my team to have to leave on those circumstances. And so that
Mhm.
was a really tough time. That was a really, really tough time. And I am very, 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 very grateful for that lesson. I think it's probably
Yeah.
one of the top things now I'm most proud of, because I now know it for a fact in my own body and my own experience. And unknowing it would be so hard. And
Yeah.
that's what real change comes from.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can share it as well once you know it, which is great.
Definitely.
Awesome. And then my last question is, if you had, and you probably do, a life motto, what would it be?
Go after the life you want.
Yeah, I knew it would be that one. That's awesome. Well, Amy, it has been wonderful to talk to you. Tell me, where do people find you? Tell the people.
Sure. Just search for me on YouTube or Instagram. You can search Amy Landino. On Instagram, I have an old school username. It's my maiden name ish, Schmitastic. But if you search for Amy Landino, you should be able to find me everywhere. And yeah, pretty. Again, just send me that word action in DM, and I'll be right there to chat with you.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Amy. Thank you for listening, everyone. And a big thank you to Adam for making us sound great and Anastasia for making us look great. We couldn't do it without you.
And if you're looking for any of the references to the papers that we discuss, head on over to our show notes page because I always bring the receipts.
Plus, if you want to find out more about us or any more deep diving into what we're doing, you can find us on Substack. That's where the community is. That's where we're chatting, and you can see all of the fun and exciting things that we are bringing to the table.
Thanks for being here.